Yahweh will answer and say to his people, behold, I will send you grain and new wine and oil. Like I was saying, Yahushua spoke about how old wine must be poured into old wineskins, while new wine in new wineskin. And there are several interpretations for that analogy, that parable. But as I was saying, one of them is how each time that the Almighty would manifest on earth, he would enter a different body, meaning he would have a new body for each manifestation, because new wine in a new wineskin, if not, it breaks. So this reality would break if somebody from a different time would appear in our time, in the same body, of course. So look how now it says, I will send you grain and new wine and oil. Interestingly that it says new wine, because there are certain parts, actually we just, I don't know, like last week perhaps, we read how Babylon was drinking new wine. But I spoke about the positive interpretation of that. Well, not Babylon drinking new wine, but the positive interpretation of the new wine and the negative interpretation of the new wine, as in false doctrines that they have created after Yahushua came and spoke the true doctrine 2,000 years ago as the old wine. So they made new doctrines that are falsehood. That would be new wine for them, of course. But Yahweh is saying here that he himself will send a new wine from him. And that is the positive sense that I was trying to teach about in the previous study. I think it was the previous study. So it would be speaking about the new manifestation. Yahweh will answer and say to his people, behold, I will send you grain and new wine and oil. When it comes to people being represented by grain, wine, and oil, I already said the few, the many, and the martyrs. But when it comes to what I was just saying, behold, I will send you pretty much the chosen few, grain, and new wine, the second coming, and oil, the Ruach HaKodesh, for everybody to be anointed with the true doctrine. So, behold, I will send you grain and new wine and oil. Three kinds of people, the few, the many, and the martyrs. But as the second manifestation, the few, the last, who is their leader, and the oil, which will be the spirit that will cover him and the few. And you will be satisfied by them. The few, the many, and the martyrs will be satisfied once they are resurrected in their new bodies. And the people who are seeking Yahweh will be satisfied through the spirit that they will receive through the last, who is as the new wine in a new wineskin, to become the grain and be filled with the truth of Yahweh, satisfied with the food given by Yahweh through the last, that food being the heavenly bread, Yahushua HaMashiach, the bread of life, made with grain. So grain, new wine, and oil. If Yahushua raised the cup and said this is the wine, the blood of the new covenant, he was talking about his own blood that would be spilled. Now Yahweh is saying, I will send you new wine, as saying another person who will spill his blood for the people, like the witness like Moshe who dies in Revelation 11. And you will be satisfied by them. I will no longer make you a reproach among the nations. I will no longer make you a reproach among the nations. This was said hundreds of years before Messiah, and it hasn't been fulfilled yet. Even if some Jewish people may think that it has, it hasn't, and there are many ways why it hasn't. This will happen. This will happen once we are given the land back, once Yahweh rules from Zion. That is the only way it will work. Otherwise, all the nations will continue doing what they have been doing against the true nation of Yahweh. And we see that even after the 1,000 years, the nations will gather to come against us. After having been on the land that Yahweh will give us for pretty much 1,000 years, still the nations will try to come against us. So Yahweh promised, I will no longer make you a reproach among the nations.